The first of our devotional thoughts today comes from our reading in Genesis. And the principle is simply this. There are lessons that you learn in the hard times that can bring about permanent change in a family for the good. Let me say that again. There are lessons that are learned in hard times, like what we're walking through right now, that can change a family permanently for the good. Now, I want you to remember with me, we never find in Scripture where Abraham ever planted a crop. Abraham was always wandering, moving from place to place with his flocks, his herds, his camels, etc. The first time we ever find anybody in their family planting was during the famine with Isaac. We studied that concept in detail. Genesis 26, verse 12. When Isaac planted his crops that year, he harvested 100 times more grain than he planted, for the Lord blessed him. But now listen to Isaac in our scripture reading today as he puts his blessings on Jacob. Genesis 27, verses 27 to 28. So Jacob went over and kissed him. And when Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, he was finally convinced, and he blessed his son. And he said, the smell of my son is like the smell of the outdoors, which the Lord has blessed. From the dew of heaven and the riches of the earth, may God give you abundant harvest of grain and bountiful new wine. Abundant harvest of grain and bountiful new wine. Not alcohol, but bountiful new wine, like juice. Now you look at that and you go, would you look at this? He's praying for the harvest. He's praying a blessing over the future harvests of his son Jacob. In other words, from this point forward, from the time he began to plant, from this point forward, this family not only were herdsmen, this family also planted seed in the ground and planted vineyards. They had learned a lesson of self-sufficiency, going through the hard times when they found that people didn't want to sell to them, going through the hard times when they didn't have food to feed their families. Going through those hard times, they learned lessons of self-sufficiency, that now not only will we have flocks and herds, but from this day forward, we will plant seeds of grain, and we will raise vineyards. We will not just be wanderers all the time. We will have regular harvest with our families. Now, brothers and sisters, over these last few years, it has been difficult. Now, for some of you, I understand it's just been a big inconvenience, but for others, this has been very difficult. And you have learned lessons. Lessons like he learned about planting. Only maybe you've learned lessons about the need for savings, the need to be debt-free, the need to own your own property so that you can shut down cash going out because you already own your home and you don't have to keep paying rent and you don't have to keep paying bank payments. The need to be self-sufficient, being able as a family to rely more on yourself. Many of you started raising vegetables in your little pieces of property that you used to just keep for your apo out back of your house. Not a very big yard, but now you've got vegetables out there. You've got okra out there. You've got tomatoes out there. You've got all kinds of things out there. You learned a little bit more of self-sufficiency. Some of you have started raising chickens, and now you have fresh chicken and you have fresh eggs. Some of you have started small piggeries. You've learned the necessity of self-sufficiency. And I guess that's the big lesson that I want you to see here today. What lessons? What has your family learned that from this point forward in your family, you will never forget?